All right, guys, we are back in the cursed village where 3 boys vanished without a trace, and the 2 investigators who went to look for them also seemed to disappear into thin air. Their car was found abandoned on the side of the road, with the engine still running and their phones left behind on the porch of the creepy abandoned house. Nobody knows what happened to them, but every night the villagers can hear strange whispers coming from the attic of this house, which is why they call in a religious scholar who is also an exorcist or a ruqya master to hopefully break this curse once and for all. So let's just get right into it. Part 2, Arrival. A man dressed in white robes walks slowly through the village, carrying an ancient-looking book in his hands. Behind him are sacks full of holy water and talismans. The villagers watch him walk up to the abandoned house, where the boys and the investigators disappeared. They beg the man not to go inside because it's cursed. But he stops at the door and takes a deep breath before opening it and stepping inside. It moans like it's alive. The door behind him slams shut with a loud bang. The man places his things down and starts reading from the book. As he does, shadows start to swirl around the room, taking shape and forming scary faces that leer at him from the walls. Suddenly, a voice booms from somewhere above, saying, "You cannot defeat us." He doesn't seem scared at all. He continues to read from the book. The shadows scream in pain and agony, as if he were burning them with his words. Then the voice says, "Leave while you still can. There's nothing you can do here." He closes his book and stands up. The shadows fade away. He walks towards the stairs leading up to the attic. He turns around and throws a handful of holy water behind him, drenching the stairs. "In the name of God," he shouts, "I banish you, unclean spirits, from this place." Part 3, the first attack. A tall, muscular figure is starting to form in the center of the room. The man walks up to the front door and smashes in the glass panel with his foot. As he continues to walk forward, more shadowy figures emerge from the walls and ceiling, taking the shape of humans. Then, the giant figure in the middle raises his head and roars. The man jumps backwards, then quickly crosses himself. He starts to recite verses from the Quran very loudly. The Jinn slaps the floor, causing the room to shake and items to fall off of shelves. It jumps at him, knocking him to the ground. Other smaller Jinn try to climb onto him. He kicks at them and they hiss at him, then retreat back to the corners of the room. The man gets back up and continues to yell verses while sprinkling holy water everywhere. More shadows come out of the walls. They all hiss and screech at him, then vanish after a few seconds. He takes a deep breath, then runs towards the main figure. "In the name of God," he screams, "I am a soldier of God. You will not win here today." The Jinn swipes at him with his long claws, but he dodges and continues to throw holy water. Part 4, the Jinn revealed. The Jinn screams in anger and jumps back. His whole body is made of swirling black smoke and fire. He has sharp teeth and red eyes that blaze like hot coals. Smaller Jinn figures crawl out from under the floorboards and from holes in the walls. One of them floats past the man. He quickly crosses himself. They hiss and screech at him, then vanish after a few seconds. The temperature drops dramatically. The man shivers, then looks back at the giant Jinn. Its body is now fully formed, and it lunges at him. The man jumps over him and lands on his feet. More objects start flying around the room. He ducks under a shelf as a lamp flies past his head. It crashes to the ground, and the bulb explodes. He backs away slowly, keeping his eyes on the giant Jinn. Suddenly, it disappears. When it reappears, it's standing right in front of him. Before he can react, it swipes at him again. This time he's not fast enough and it knocks him to the ground. He slams his hand into the floor. The Jinn moves his head and lets out another ear-piercing screech. The man covers his ears. He gets back up and stumbles backwards. He trips over his bag, sending books and holy water containers flying. The giant Jinn advances on him. The man crosses himself frantically. The Jinn loomed over him. The man looked up at it and screamed the loudest verse he could. The talisman around his neck glowed brightly. The Jinn screamed as if it were being burned. It jumped back. The man got up and ran towards him. Part 5. The Battle. They both stood in the middle of the room, staring each other down. The man threw holy water at the giant Jinn. It dodged, and the water hit the wall. The man began to chant verses even louder. The Jinn lunged at him again, but he dodged. He jumped over the Jinn and landed on his feet. He yelled in the Jinn's face. The Jinn screeched and recoiled. He kept yelling at it as he walked backwards. The Jinn split into 3 separate forms, each identical to the other. He crossed himself. The Jinn split again, making 5 in total. They all screamed at him, advancing on him. He backed away, slipping on something on the ground. As he struggled to get up, one of the Jinns lunged at him, knocking him to the ground. He slammed his hand into the floor. The Jinn moved his head and let out another ear-piercing screech. The man covered his ears. He got back up and stumbled backwards. The Jinn split again, making 9 in total. The man fell backwards. He was surrounded. They loomed over him, screaming and growling. The man put his hands together and yelled the loudest verse he could. Light burst from his talisman. The Jinn screamed as if they were being burned. They retreated to the corners of the room. He got back up and ran towards them. Part 6. The Climax. The largest Jinn lunges at him. He presses the holy book to the ground. A blinding light erupted from it. The shadows disintegrated. Screams echoed through the house. Windows on the 2nd floor exploded inwards. Outside, the villagers watched in suspense. The Jinn collapsed. It let out one final deafening roar before collapsing into dust. The man emerged from the house. He was covered in cuts and bruises. The villagers rushed forward, cheering and thanking God. He looked back at the house. In the attic window, he saw faint red eyes glowing. He looked away. He knew the curse wasn't broken. Part 7. Twist ending. The exorcist is sitting on the ground with the villagers, sipping some water. They are all smiling and laughing. He is very tired. He looks over at the house. One of the attic windows suddenly explodes inwards. A strong wind blows towards him, extinguishing his cup of water. The villagers gasp and cross themselves. The man stands up. He tells the villagers not to worry, that everything is fine. But then he turns back to the house and sees a dark shadow detach itself from the wall. It takes the shape of a humanoid figure. It walks towards the tree line. As it disappears into the darkness, he hears it whisper, "The curse is never truly broken." And that is the end of part 2. If you guys want to see the next part, then stay tuned. Also, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so you won't miss any videos. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.